A very good morning to all. Today's class is all about PTS-6, tourism marketing. This is the last class, or I mean, this is the fourth as well as the last class on the project on tourism marketing. So, coming to research and design, we'll start with the research design. So, the main contents of research design include the sources. 1 minute. Mention about the introduction part about the literature review. Like we are talking about the supervisor, the literature review in a previous class, introduction as well as literature review. Now, coming to the third, that is research design. In today's class, we'll be talking about the research methodology, followed by your interpretations, data interpretations, analysis and interpretation, and then conclusion. Okay. Coming to the research methodology, what are the main components of research, which is very essential for you all to know. The first thing is the sources of information to be tapped. When you select a topic, you should know, I mean, related to your topic, you should know from where and how to collect the information. So those are being considered as the sources. So you should be able to tap the sources of information. Now coming to nature of the study, that is your topic, related to tourism marketing, like your project proposal would be defined, and it would define about tourism marketing on any topic, like we were talking about destination marketing. So yes, you can collect all information about the how to, if you wanted to, how to promote a destination. Okay, so that would be the nature of your study. Then sociological contact of the study, then who are your participants that you need to know, participants in the sense who are your respondents. Okay, participants means who are your respondents, from whom you will be collecting the data. Like then geographical areas to be covered by the study. This where you will be collecting the data. Suppose if it's a particular destination, it can be a wildlife sanctuary. So you can mention the wildlife sanctuary located in this location and this state of the country. Okay, so that is the geographical areas to be covered by the study. Then coming to the time prepared to be encompassed. So what is the time you will take, as this is a project report in your in your second semester. I believe you'll be getting around 4 to 5 months. So you have to you can mention the time period given is 4 months. Okay, because you will be preparing the research proposal. Then you have to decide a topic which has to be approved by the your supervisor. So you have to ensure that this topic needs to be approved by the supervisor. So you can mention, so that is the proposal, like approval of the topic by the your supervisor. That would take around 1 month. Then literature review, you have to do some background of the study about the introduction part, then about the background of the study, that is the literature review. Then collecting data, then interpretation of data and analysis, then coming to the conclusion. So this would take around another 2 months. And last comes the report writing. How today I'll show you how the report is usually prepared. I'll show you a video on how the report writing is prepared. That is the time period to be encompassed. Okay. The dimensions of the study, what are your objectives, that has to be mentioned. The basis for the selection data, like whether it's primary data or secondary data, you should mention that. Then what are the techniques to be used for gathering data? Like it can be a questionnaire mode, it can be survey. Okay, so you can mention questionnaire. Then what are the specifications of time schedule for completing the research? This is like, I told you, like you can mention 4 months for completing the, because this is a semester. This PTS-6 tourism marketing is in your second semester, so you have to complete within the second semester. So you can mention it is a 4 to 5 months time. Okay. So within that time frame, you have to complete your project. Now, what are the points you should keep in mind when preparing the research design? So when formulating a research design, a researcher has to take decisions with respect to the following, like what is the study about and the types of big data that are needed. Then why, like whether it's primary data or the secondary data. So that is very essential that you should know. Now, why is the study being made? Why are you doing the study? As I told you, you have, that is, there are many reasons. First thing is, one is the enhancement of your career growth. Okay. Second thing is, you want to contribute something to the society. Third is, you wanted to invent something new. Invent in the sense, like this is a sociology, I mean this is a social studies paper. So invent in the sense, you might be, when a new destination comes up, so you wanted to find the tourist satisfaction level and all. So that can be one perspective on that, can be one perspective. So you have to know, I mean there should be specific reasons that why you want to do the particular study, why it is important, how it would enhance your career growth, how it would contribute to the society. So that is very important. Then where can the needed data be found? As I told you, the needed data, like if suppose we take for this is for instance, for example, we take a location, wildlife sanctuary which has recently come up. So you want to do the study on that particular area. So from where you will collect the data. The data has to be collected from the respondents. So who are your respondents? Your respondents are your basically, if you ask who are your respondents, then the respondents are the your visitors. Who are visiting that particular location, particular wildlife sanctuary. So they can be also, you have to find out. You'll find maximum are in the age group of 20 to 30. Then you'll find, so you have to get all these demographic. These are known as demographic. So you have to collect all this demographic information. So then where or in what areas will the study be carried on? So that is the location. You wanted to carry the study on that particular area. So a small description of that particular area is also needed. That's location. You can show it in the map, or you can show it through the map or something. So which area, excuse me, which area, of a particular state it is located, and in when and for what period of time will the study be collected. So that is very important. You might have collected that data from December, January, February. I'm giving you example. Now this is already January. It would take another 1 month to prepare the proposal, then you send. So you can make your study from February or March, April. 2 months you can do the study, then you can prepare the report. Okay, so you can mention from 1st of March to 30th of April. Now, how much materials or cases will be needed? This is basically, we are talking about the sample design. What will, how many your respondents, how many from how many questionnaire have you distributed to the to the respondents, how many you are able to collect, then there would be some incomplete. So what, on an average, I would always, as I have already said in my previous class, on an average you should be able to collect 50 questions. You should be able to collect 50 questions. So you can distribute to 60 or 70 respondents. Now out of this 60 or 70 respondents, 50 from 50 will be able to get the correct answer. The reason behind is that, and some will be incomplete. So you would not take into consideration all this. You will take into consideration only those which have been properly fully filled up. So that is, you can see, like the question, the answer to this question is how much materials or cases will be needed. That is respondents. Okay. Now, what techniques of gathering data will be adopted? That is through questioning. You can mention it is through questioning, right? Then, so decisions on all these questions lead to formulation of a research design. When like these are the questions that should be kept in your mind while designing a, I mean, how to design a research. So this questions should be kept in your mind while designing a research. So decisions on all these questions lead to formulation of a research design, which are usually put into black and white by the researcher before he really enters into the universe of his research project for data collection and analysis. You know, this research methodology is one of the most important criteria. You can see, there are usually 5 to 6 units. You know, this this particular research design, this known as research methodology is very important because this shows how you have conducted your research in order to fulfill the objective of the study that you have undertaken. I once again repeat the sentence. This research design is very important because this shows the flowchart process, how you have conducted the research in order to fulfill the objective of your study, right? Moving ahead, we have, like, data collection. Talking about data collection, once a sample design is formulated, the next step in a research process is to collect the relevant data. You should collect relevant data. That is very important. Okay. Then usually, as I have already mentioned, there are two sources of data. One is your through two types of data. One is the primary data, and one is the secondary data. So what we will once again we'll learn in this slide what is about primary data is collecting the information directly from the respondents. Okay, those are the primary data. And what do you mean by secondary data? Secondary data is basically that you collect from academic journals, books, research papers, and reports, project reports, these are. So here it is mentioned, once a sample design is so once you design it, once a sample design is formulated, the next step in a research process is the collection of relevant data. It takes time to collect the data. So there can be two sources of data. What are the two sources? One is the primary and the second one is the secondary. So beside that, there is also internal data as well as external data. Now, what do you mean by internal data? Internal data is the one that reflects on the happening and functions of a business organization. For example, the sale or purchase details of a company. So that's the internal, a dozen new people. But what will be the external? Which is related to outside sources and external agencies. So that is the external data. So usually there are two types of data. One is the primary data and the other is the secondary data. Now, why? See, I'll give you an example. When we collect questionnaires from the respondents, so here we have taken the example of respondents from the visitors who are visiting the particular destination. But sometimes it is not only about the visitors who are visiting the destination. We can also collect the information from the employees. Means employees in the sense who are employed in upkeeping of that particular wildlife sanctuary. We have taken an example of wildlife sanctuary. Okay, how to promote that, how to develop that, or what is the satisfaction level of the tourists visiting that particular. So we are talking about distributing questionnaires because they are main data. I mean, they are a main respondents. Who are a main respondents? The respondents are the visitors who are visiting the particular area. But on the other, so those are external data. But there can also be, if the topic is being framed in such a manner where the data has to be collected from the visitors as well as also the employees. Employees means those who are working for that particular destinations for upkeeping of that particular wildlife sanctuary for the employees. So that is internal. So that, but here we are taking the case of the external data. Okay. So now coming to the two types of data. One is the primary data and the other is the secondary data. When we talk about primary data are those observations which are collected by an investigator for the first time. Here the investigator is basically the researcher, right? So then secondary data are already available in the records. As I told you, secondary data is that where you collect information. So those informations are already there. The secondary data are already available in the records and have been collected by some other researcher for the purpose of studying a similar problem. See, you should always try to study which is of something new. Don't do the study which is older one, okay, which has where a study has already been done. You wanted to create something new. You wanted to develop something new. So in order to satisfy that, you have to do some. You have to collect a new topic. But here it is mentioned you can always take the references of the papers, research papers, or any materials or articles written by a researcher, uh, a similar topic but maybe different distance. Similar means you want to promote a particular destination. So you can also see there are researchers who have done research on topics how to promote a tourist destination or wildlife sanctuary in Southeast Asia, for example. So you what happens when you collect this information, how they are being mentioned, how they are being written. So those are very important. So you can always, uh, yes, you can always, 1 minute. You can always, it would help them for you to have a idea how the research paper is being designed. So that is the reason I always suggest you, at least before preparing the research proposal, you should go through at least 5 to 10 research papers that has been published. You can download it from Google Scholar. Okay, you go to the Google website and you can download and you can read it, then you have an idea. Now wait, now here coming the secondary data are already available in the records and have been collected by some other researcher for the purpose of studying a similar problem. And what are the methods of collecting primary data? Now we will talk about the methods of collecting primary data. That is by direct observation and experimentation. Okay. Second is by direct personal interview. You can have a proper interaction, personal interview with the respondents. That can also be done. Then by direct interviews through phone, SMS and email, you can also collect information. As I told you, there is through Google Forms you can collect the information. Okay. Then by indirect personal interview, then by mail or email questionnaire, then you can have a questionnaire form and then you can mail it to different tourists you have collected their emails, and then you have mailed them to their respective email IDs, and they will, once they are fill it up, it automatically gets uploaded in your mailbox. So by schedules through enumerators. So these are basically methods of collecting primary data. Okay. Now we will go ahead with methods of collecting secondary data. So what do you mean by secondary data? Like there are, you can collect information like, you have heard about WHO, World Health Organization, or United Nations organizations, or you can also get information from WTO, World Tourism Organization, etc. There are a lot of reports, uploaded on the website. So you can go through this and you will have an idea. Then other government publications like economic surveys, then like different agencies and all. Then you can also collect information from journals and newspapers, then magazines, then academic journals, then articles, research articles, and then also reports of business organizations and financial institutions. Now there are a lot of organizations who are doing research. That is the market research they are doing. There are organizations who are doing market research. Market research, for example, suppose there are a lot of vehicles, four-wheelers, different companies, available in the country. So you have to find out which product is being purchased by people the maximum. So in that way, you have to do a market research. There are a lot of organizations which are doing this type of market research. So if you visit, you can always see all this type of data on the newspapers, then on magazines, then hoardings and all. Now, for example, if we talk about digital transactions, India's maximum population, I mean 42% of India's population is now depends on, I mean they are using digital transaction. Okay, and what I mean to say is like India, even being a developing country, they are using the digital transaction. So how it came to the conclusion that 42% or 70%? It's because through the market research. So when you study about this market research, you'll come to know about that area. Usually this country has a lot of tourists. It's been observed that the maximum tourists visit to India from US or from UK. We can easily find out the number of tourists in the country through the data. So that is why how research is being done, and that is being known as the market research. Okay. The maximum tourists, for example, Mauritius. For example, Mauritius is a country which is having their whole GDP, economic growth depends on the tourism, the revenue that is being collected from the tourism. So these are all examples. So how would, because there are organizations which are doing research, market research. So there is report which usually you can collect information. These are the reports of business organization and financial institutions. Okay. A method and source of data collection is chosen by investigating the investigator, taking into account the objectives and requirements of the inquiry. The adapted method should incur minimum cost and time and should have a reasonable level of accuracy and unbiased. You see, there shouldn't be these all. It should be very ethical. There should not be any bias. It should be unbiased. There should be accuracy, validity, reliability. These are very important. Validated. You have, it should be, so there should be reliability and validity. That is very important. And yes, you should go as per the objectives of the study. See, first thing is you have to frame the objectives of the study, and your study should proceed as per the objectives of the report. Okay, and once you should justify the objectives, because through your objectives you would come to able to fetch your result outcome. Okay. Now once you collect all the questionnaire, now those questionnaire can be suppose satisfaction level. So those can be like demographic. One is the demographic profiling, and another is inferential. So demographic is what type of tourists, like in the sense their age group, whether they are working or student, how did they come to know about that destination, is it their first time visit or they, more than one. So this type of these are all demographic. Their sex, their age, their qualifications. So these all depend on demographic. Now, yes, one second. So that is now coming to analysis and interpretation of data. So what do you mean by analysis and interpretation of data? Because yes, analysis and interpretation of data. See, after the collection of data, what we have is a huge chunk of observations and numerical values. Obviously, when you have collected the data and that is on, you know, Likert scale, like very good, good, neither good nor bad, then bad, very bad. It's like this, It has also five. It is known as Likert scale, 5-point Likert scale. So you have once you have collected the questionnaire, then you collect the questionnaire. So you have a huge chunk of observations and numerical values. See, I have shown you through pictures also. So this is how the interpretation has to be made, and this interpretation can be you can use SPSS or else you can use that's software, but that's a paid software. So what you do, you can do all this through in your Excel sheet. Okay. So after the collection of data, what we have is a huge chunk of observations and numerical values. Now the data at the beginning are in the raw form. Obviously they are in the raw form, and for the purpose of applying further statistical techniques, one has to put the raw data in a useful form by classification, tabulation, and categorization of data. So if one has to feed the data in a computer, the data should be at the same form as required by the software used. Actually, you have to frame all those. I mean, it's better you do it in Excel sheet, like date, then age, I mean sex, then your you can say is it the visit your first time or more than did you like, or how would you grade it, very good, good, or neither good nor bad, bad, very bad. So this, you have to maintain all this in Excel sheet. So this kind of processing of data involves one or more of the following activities. So usually those type of activities known as coding. So you have to do coding, then you have to label it. That is what is very important. You have to do coding, then you have to label it. Then you have to do a little bit of addition, that is editing. And then you have to tabulate it, tabulation, and then classification. See, once you get, and this is how you get your data. See how it is being given. Then you can able to correlate it. Okay, these have given you some examples through bar diagrams, through charts, and all. Okay, so this kind of basically this kind this kind of processing of data involves one or more of the following activities. What are the activities include? That is coding, labeling, editing, then tabulation and classification. Right? 1 minute. Okay. Now, once we have collected, and we have collected the data, we have to do the analysis of the data. And after analysis, we have to do interpretation of the data. How can we come to the result? Like whether the visitors, the tourists who are visiting that destination is of which group, what is their sex, are they from that particular locality or outside from a different state? Is it their first visit or more than one, or it is their consecutive visit? They have visited. They have visited. What are their? Are they like students or working, professional? What is their? How much their family income. So these all have been included. So you have to get the result, and after that do the demographic. Then inferential, that is you have variables and invariables, like your there are statements like the satisfaction level, how many times did you visit or this place, or would you like to refer it to your friends. So you have to frame those questions. Now you have to come to the interpretation of results. So what do you mean by interpretation of results? So interpretation of results after the data. Interpretation of results is basically conclusion before the important outcomes of the study to be dealt with very carefully. So they are because this results through the interpretations of results you come to know what is the outcome. So these conclusions are very important outcomes of the study and therefore they have to be taken very carefully. On the basis of findings of the research work done, we draw references about the phenomenon under study. So, this is a useful activity. Of course, this is a very important activity. Without any outcome, research study is fruitless. So, your interpretation of results is very important. This is being considered as an important activity because without this, any outcome a research study is fruitless. So, it is very important. Okay, vital. The results obtained from the analysis of data are to be interpreted skillfully. You have to be very skillfully interpreted. Then a wrong interpretation may lead to wrong decisions that you can understand easily. So interpretation may also lead to generalization of the phenomena under study. So once it is properly interpreted, obviously it would result to generalization of the phenomena under study. Now it may also help in developing new theories. Now we are doing a study on, it's a social studies. These are all considered as social studies. If it is a very scientific research, then it would come out with some results and all that. So here we are doing some social studies research. So basically it would help in developing, it may not always help in developing theory, but in scientific studies it helps in coming up with new theories, developing new theories, and can suggest new research problems to be explored in future. So whenever we do any study, there are some lacunae there or limitations are there, as well as some suggestions are there, so which can be further researched in future. Okay, that is why your suggestions are being welcome. Any limitations you can mention, these are the limitations, because the study has been done in a very short period of time. At least it takes 6 months to undergo this type of study, but due to shortage of time, this study was done in 3 months, and henceforth there are many criteria which were not able, the researcher was not able to include, and he expects that in future further research or exploration has to be done on that particular area. So this is how it should move ahead, go ahead. Okay, so it may also help in developing new theories and can suggest new research problems to be explored in the future. Now see, we are almost done. We are almost done. We done with the we have done with the your introduction, that is the background of the study. Then we have done the literature review. We have learned papers and all. We have read papers so that we have a general idea of the topic. Then we came to the research methodology, how to design the research. Then once the research is designed, we prepare a questionnaire, and once the questionnaire is being prepared, we distribute it to the respondents. We collect the questionnaires from the respondents, which can be in the form of Google form, because that would be more easier way of collecting the their views. And then you have to segregate those data, and you can do interpretation, and then come to a conclusion, which is the result of your study. And always remember that whatever objectives you have seen, that should tally with your questionnaire also. Then you will be able to find the result. So whenever you are filling questionnaire, you should link it with your objective, because that is very important. Okay, otherwise your questionnaire is made in one way and your objective something. to first, when once you have your objective, don't keep too many objectives. Limit your objective to 3 or maximum 4, and as per the objective you should frame the question so that once the results will come, you can justify the statement with the justify the result of the statement with the objectives of the study, right? So that is how it should move ahead. Now here comes the report writing. Why are you undertaking PTS-6 tourism marketing? Because you are supposed to complete your second semester, and as per the second semester you need to prepare a report writing. How you have to form a report. So in this this is what you are, it's a part of your course, where if you don't submit your report, then you won't be able to, marks won't be allotted to you, and it would it would reflect on your card not completed. So now you should start with the report writing. I'll show you on the report also. So report writing, last but not the least, is the step of reporting the facts and findings of the research study. So you should always remember, last but not the least is the step of reporting the facts and findings of the research study. Basically, when we talk about a report, it generalizes report. It's a summary of the whole research process. You can see the layout of the report must be very attractive, might be very eye-catching. Okay, like everyone should be developed in such a manner. So once a person starts reading, it should create interest in it. That has to be. So when we say that, the layout of the report must be attractive. The words used in the text must be easily comprehensive to a reader. The word that is being used in the text must be easily comprehensive to a reader. Even a non-technical person understands a good report. So you need not be a technical person, because you'll find those results so different, bar diagrams, charts, and all. So it should be reflected in such a manner that even a lay person can understand. And also the words that you have, the words that you have used in the text, it should be easily and understandable by any reader. Non-technical person understand the good report. In the beginning of the report, one should give the title. Yes, very much required. Time period. We will just. This is very important. In the beginning of the report, one should give the title. That is, the title is required. Time period of work, you can mention like 4 months. Acknowledgement and preface. If you have somebody has helped you or something, you have to acknowledge that he has helped us and all in providing the support. So that is very important. Okay. Now comes in the beginning the report, one should give the title, time period of work, acknowledgement, and preface. Okay. And in the main text, an introduction, that is then the background of the study should be given. Then it should be followed by the research methodology. Then what are the summary of results and interpretation and results, and the summary of findings. And then the recommendations of the researcher given. Recommendations in the means, like if you can give your suggestions, if you want to give some suggestions that you can include, and at the same time you can also collect, like we discussed yesterday, we can also give some future recommendations, okay, as well as limitations also. Like this was a very short period, this study has been done, so if more time has been given, then it would have been done in a more better way. Or you can also mention the respondents taken at only 50. So in future, at least 300 respondents, because when you have a respondents 300 responses, then it gives a more clarity, and there is more reliability, and there is the more concept of reliability. Okay, so you can always mention these are the shortcomings, these are the limitations, and also some future recommendations that you can mention. Okay, the report. The report should conclude with appendices, like you have this PTS-6. There are a lot of appendices. You please attach, write it, and fill it. You see those, complete it, send it to your supervisor. Has to be signed. That means it has to be approved. And when submitting your final report, you have to attach those appendixes, and even you can also attach the question. That is also very important. So here comes the total everything I have tried to put together in one slide. First is plan, then comes write, and then comes revise. So this is very important. First you have to plan, then you have to write, and then you have to revise. Now talking to plan is purpose, preliminary research, and outline of the organization. So what you do, first you have to plan, that is why are you doing the study, how it would be beneficial to you, how it would be beneficial to you, how it would be beneficial to the society. Okay, so there you come with a proposal. Proposal is basically a rough idea, that is what is. So you have to first plan it out. Then collecting all the information and all, you do get all the study finding, you do the study, then come up with lot of findings. Then comes to writing. So when what you do, you have to write. So you have to take care of few things. You have to write. You have to phrase it properly, wording, then the project, how it has to be laid out, and also those have to be very minutely discussed. Okay. Then you can do some plagiarism test and all. Then you can do grammarly check and all. All the softwares are there, and even IGNO has this software. So the once we get on the computer, Google search and all, those are they don't show you 100% similarity check, because they are not good. They are free software. So usually the paid software, they have more clarity. So if you feel like because in your mind you may think this is just a project, but for some others it is not. So for those who think they should have they should go it in a very proper manner, then they can always inform their supervisor to send it to IGNO for this similarity check report, and you can use the Grammarly also. And the last but not the least is revise. So that is what it matters. Okay, so you have to revise. So like grammar, confusing, verify precision. You have already know that you have to keep on recording and keep on revising and revising. But as many times you keep on reading the report, you will find every time some mistake or the other. So plan, write, and then comes revise. That is what is very important. So what happened? There are also some problems which are being encountered by the researchers. Now, what are those problems that are being encountered by the researchers? What are the problems that are being encountered by researchers? So these are the problems that are being encountered, because when you will be undergoing the research, you will find those problems accumulating, and sometimes you are mentally disturbed because you don't get the proper questionnaire filled up, and so here comes first thing is lack of skilled research. We don't have skilled researchers. Just for the sake of, or to get a promotion or to get their API score on a higher rank, they keep on writing research papers, but they are not exactly doing the research and especially in institutes and all. So you have to be very careful. We need skilled researchers. Then comes the lack of code of conduct. The code of conduct has to be taken care of. Maybe we should maintain the code of conduct. Then insufficient interaction. What happens? Unless and until you interact with the respondent, you won't be able to know the exact findings. So what you have to do, you have to do interaction with the respondent. That is what is very important. Now comes overlapping research studies. You have to do some research studies. Sometimes, time is also a constraint. Sometimes they are overlap with your other essential work and so on. So then sometimes you don't feel confident, and that is what happens with everybody else. Sometimes even I feel that I am suffering from lack of confidence. When you just see at, oh my God, people are moving so fast in the sense, you know, uh, they find the, the thing is that whenever you undertake a work, because this is a very, a project report means something of your own, something you have created, something you have developed. So sometimes what happens, you do not get the properly response from the respondent, and you lack the confidence. So lack of confidence takes place. Then lack of funds and facilities. Usually this is not a funding project, but usually government has lot of projects which are funded by the ministry, government of India and other institutional bodies. So now this project is, they undertake funds, but for us we don't need any, funds. That is your own, you have to prepare. But big projects, those are big projects which have been undertaken by researchers in universities or organizations. So they also being funded because it requires some lakhs of rupees. Like for example, in social studies, we don't need any machineries or equipments, but scientific studies where you have to invent something new or where you have to develop a new theory, you have to do. You need lot of machineries, which are quite very expensive, and tools and all. So in that case, it is you don't have any experience or something. So you not think, but yes, maybe not now. Afterwards, you may get involved in some project, where you get a name for yourself as well as for the university or for the organization you are working for. You may be the main investigator. You got a project, and you may be the main investigator. So this is how it should be like. So lack of confidence, lack of funds and facilities. I should not say like you have. That is what is necessary, and then lack of literature. Sometimes people they don't go through the literature. So there is no proper literature, and usually now people usually they have the habit of copying and pasting. They copy from some sites and different sites and they paste it. They don't try to write it. So in that case, what happens? Lot of plagiarism takes place, and the quality of the paper also declines. It's so you have the quality of the paper is not up to the mark. So you have to ensure that you get proper literature review collected, and whenever you try to write in your report, you should always mention, you should always cite about the scholars. Okay. Then here are some books which I have recommended. You can get it from the. You can just download e-books are also there on research methodology. You can download it from the Google, and then you can read it. See, the word itself, research, means you have to search again and again. So you feel a little bit heavy, you feel a little bit, happy, satisfied and all once you do your project properly. So that is my suggestion to you. I have recommended some books. If you get, you may kindly go through this book, then you'll have that. idea what it is all about, right? Mm, then yes, these are the requirements of a good questionnaire I have just mentioned. Whenever you make questionnaire, you should see that it has a covering letter because you are sending it to some respondents. So it should have a proper covering letter. So the layout should also be properly structured. Then what is the number of questions? Don't put, you have to collect from 50 respondents. Remember that, so 50. Then coming to the questionnaire, then the questionnaire you prepare should have all the detail, As I told you, whenever you prepare the questionnaire, it should be dealt with the Prime Minister of India. So anyway, you can always put a number. That is layout, how you design it. Then comes the number of questions. You should don't make too many questions. Like 20 questions is enough. Okay. Then 1 minute. Then 1 second. One minute. 1 second. video now on how to now I'm going to show. I've already mentioned about the about your how to like right from the beginning, like the proposal. This is a project proposal, how to write the introduction and how to go about the literature review, then how to do the research methodology. Then comes the data collection, interpretations and findings, followed by conclusions. Okay, that is the findings of the study. Now I'm going to show you a video which will say you like after the references you may also add your questionnaire, the questionnaire you have prepared. The references is very important that you should add from which other researchers, like you have collected, cited their statements and all. You should put them in a reference list, and if you have collected the informations from any books, you can also mention in the reference list as bibliography. Now I'm going to show you a video. Okay, kindly be online. You be there. I'm just showing you the video.
Leave it. Yes, now you can use.
So let us move to the Google document. Now copy the link available in the description section of the report start. So there could be many chapters. So but typical chapters consist of introduction, literature view, methodology, experimentation, result and discussion, conclusion, and future scope and references. Now you can change this according to your need. Now let us go to the Google document. The link is available in the description section. Now what I will recommend that you just go through the complete video and then you will have a complete idea how to write or how to use that template so that you can write a very effective project report. So let us move to the Google document. Now copy the link available in the description section and paste it in your browser and you will be directed to a template. Now we are in Google Doc. Now you have just pasted this link available in the description section and you will be directed to this page. Now here you can note that this template is not in editable form. So you have to make a copy of it at your end in your Google Drive so that it will become a editable. So for that you can do various things. So one thing is that you can just download this template in the doc file or in Microsoft Word version, and you can make use of Microsoft Word to edit this template. But what I will recommend that make a copy of this, right? So and give you the title. So let us call it as in my project report. Now what I will recommend that make the use of this Google Doc itself, because if you use the Google Doc it will be very easy for you to edit this template, and Google Doc have a lot of features and lot of tools available that will be
Basically, you can
a very
upload.
good
You
thing for
can go
you.
to your Google
So now
Drive
you
and
can see
load all
that
this.
we
Okay,
can
that
edit
he's
this
trying
title,
to say.
right? So I can delete it over here. So what you have to do,
See, what I mean to say, I'm just showing you this video. You just remember, you can go to your, you have your Google Mail, you can go to your Google Drive. You see, there are a lot of, you have a drive, then you have a PPT, you have a Google Word. So what you do, you can save all these informations in the Google Drive. So, I mean, so once you save it in your Google Drive, you would not have to use your pen drives and all from any, whether you are on, you are on a, on a going to some places. You can just, if you have a you have your connectivity internet, then you can easily access all the information from the Google Drive. That what he's trying to say, but he'll show you basically the how the project report looks like. Okay.
to just change this template now, so you can like just put your name of the project, right? Okay, and then you can put your own name, right? Okay, and then you can put your degree name, right? So, and you can put the name of your branch. Then you need to just paste the logo of your institute over here. Then you can type the name of your institute, name of your university.
See, I'll show. This is he is showing, but IGNO also has their own format, which I have already downloaded. I'll show it to you after this video is over. Okay.
Month and
Let you
year.
just go through how he's doing. Okay.
So this is complete a cover page or title page, right? Then we will move to the next thing, that is the certificate. So typically certificate have a same kind of an format. You can just change these things. You need to update the title page, okay, and then you have to type your own names, right, and type the name of your guide, head of the department and principal, and the remaining things you can make change. So this your certificate is also ready. Then you have acknowledgement, so you can just change the you can just fill up the whatever data is needed over here, and this acknowledgement page is also ready for you. Then we will move to the table of content. Now this is the very important part. Now this table of content, this actually what I have did that this is a kind of a table. So if you want to edit this table, what I will recommend that just right click over here, right, and go to the table properties, right, and if you make one point over here, right, so you will get the this table. But this typically table doesn't good look, so we have to remove the borders of the same, right? Okay, but for getting the idea for the editing the table, you can make use of the same thing. And after you are finished with this editing, what you can do, you can just go to the table properties and make it 0 point, right? Now you can see here that almost all the table of content is ready. Just you have to change the
See,
page number.
they have mentioned abstract. So in case of abstract, you write the synopsis. Okay, then you have this list of tables, list of figures and all. Then you go to actually this list of tables, list of figures. You can put it at the bottom. First, it should start with the synopsis, your certificate that is being approved by your supervisor. Then your your synopsis, the synopsis. Then it should be followed by introduction, literature review, research methodology, then data interpretation and findings, data interpretation analysis and data interpretation analysis and findings, then conclusion, then reference. Okay, and followed by all the annexures. Annexures, when you see PTS-6, there are a lot of annexures. You know what annexures that has to be filled by the supervisor. Then there are some other annexures also. So you kindly fill up those annexures. Okay.
At your end, and you may have to add the subsection part. So typically it have a abstract will be the first thing, then there will be list of table, list of figures.
See, he had told about abstract. You need not write the abstract. You just write the synopsis. In place of abstract, you write the synopsis. And the synopsis, which is around 400, 300 to 400 words, as mentioned by you. So you have to keep it up to maximum 400 words. So you should attach over there, right? Instead of abstract, you are submitting the synopsis. And yes, at the bottom, you can add the list of tables, figures. You will be adding that because in methodology, you can put some figure. You have to have that figures and tables, and in between, suppose if you give some introduction, some drawings and all, you can mention the figures and all. So at the end, like in subsection which will mention, he will let you know. At the end, you can write the list of figures, lists of diagrams and all. You can attach that, and also the questionnaire also. Okay.
List of symbols and abbreviations, right? And we are going to see the templates for the same, and it is available in the same document. Now you will be writing an introduction, right, and there may be some subsections that you want to write, okay, and if you don't have any subsection, you can just remove this part. Then there will be a literature survey, then you have to just make the change in this page number. Then you have methodology, then you have experimentation, then you have results and discussion, right, and then you have a conclusion, future scope and references. Now make a note of this, that this usually this introduction will be there will be literature survey, but if you want to change the titles of this uh, chapters, okay, you can make it right, and you can change it to whatever thing you want to do. Now once this table of content is ready, right, you can just move to this abstract thing. Now what is an abstract should be one page, say like synopsis kind of an project, right, and which is kind of a summary of your project, right, and which you will be writing over here. So all the
So see, he mentioned abstract is basically the summary of the project. So here basically your synopsis of the project. Okay. So you did not write abstract, you just write synopsis of the project.
things are available in a correct format. You need to just copy and paste your abstract, or
जी बेटे
type your abstract,
जी
and
बेटे
things will be ready. Then we will move to the next page. Here is a list
दस
of
मिनट
tables, right?
दस
So
पंद्रह
your
मिनट
project report will have typically a lot of tables, right? So you have to write down a table number to that, and you have to write down the title of your table, and you have to write down the page number, right? So similar thing here, you can observe that if you want to get a more idea, you can go to the table properties, right, and if you make borders, right, so borders will be visible, but typically we don't want to see the borders, right, so I have make it, or I have rather hided the borders of the tables. So this is your list of tables. Now you can note that this 1.1 2.1 is related to your chapter number. So let us say that if your figure is in introduction part, then you can give the number as 1.1, and if your figure is in this or if your table is in this 3 point meteorology, then you can give the name as 3.1 and something like that. Okay, then there is a list of figures, right? So the same thing is for figures. So your project report will have a lot of figures, so you have to mention the all the figures in this table. Then you may have certain abbreviations or symbols that you have to mention, so you can just go on adding these symbols and their explanation. Then the introduction part comes. So typically, what is an introduction? So, introduction contains the brief background information about your project and the methodology and its implementation, and what problem you want to solve, or what kind of a model you want to develop, right? So, you can just start writing your introduction, and you can add the subsections if required. And the second chapter is about the literature review. So, literature review evaluates the current work and the previous work done on your topic by the various other scholars or
See, I have already shown you on the PPT about what is in my third class. We have shown you about introduction and literature review. And on the fourth day, next today, fourth class, I have told you about research methodology, uh, data interpretation, analysis, interpretation, and conclusion. Okay, so he is repeating the same. Okay.
various other people, and here you write down your understanding about the project and the understanding of other people about your topic through the literature, maybe through the books, maybe through the research articles, various reports that are available to you. Now you can just start writing your literature survey or literature review by deleting this text and making it your own. Then we will move to the next section, that is the methodology. Now, what is an typically methodology is? So essentially, so methodology is a collection of method, practices, processes, and techniques that you are going to use in your project, right? So usually your project will also have a certain tables, right, that we have mentioned in the list of table. So you have to give this kind of an table heading, right? So this is a typical table. You can make the use of same, or you can add the rows, or you can add the columns to the same. And let us note that so we are in chapter number 3, so I have given this table as table number as 3.1, and similar way you can give the numbers to this table. Again, your project report will have a lot of figures, right? So you have to mention the figure name and figure number over here, and the same should be replicated in the list of figures. Then this fourth chapter is an experimentation. So what is an experimentation? It is an step-by-step recipe of your science experiment, right? So whatever experiment you are doing or whatever project you are developing, so how did you did it step by step? You have to explain, and that part will come over here, and you can just start editing this section. Then we have result and discussion. So what results you are getting, you have to discuss those results, right? So you have to give the interpretation of your results, and you have to explain your results, their impact, and all these things. So you can just start writing this part in this section or in this chapter, right? So note that all these chapters you can add any of the chapters as per your requirement. Okay, then you have a conclusion. So this is very important part. So it is a kind of an summary of your complete project, right? And you have to write down it in a very crispy way. So you can start here just by deleting this text, right? You can start writing your own thing. Now there may be, if you want to add the certain future scope to your project, right? So you can write down that in this section, right? And finally you have to add the references. So whatever the research papers, whatever the research articles or books that you are using, or you are making reference in your literature review, that you have to add at this point, right? So this is the typical template that you can make use of. Now I will recommend that you make the use of this Google like document, right? And don't use the Word format. Use this directly Google document, because it have a lot of really good features. The one feature, let us say, I would like to show you is that you can add the comments, right? So what you can say that let us assume that you and your friends are collectively writing this report. So your and what you can do is that you can write down the comment. Okay, so let us you may write the comment like please verify it, right? So something like that, right?
See, what I wanted to say over here, he's using in Google Drive document. Okay, so Google, if you go to Google Drive, if you go to the Google Drive document, then collectively both are, suppose whenever you are making a research paper, suppose collectively two research scholars are there. So suppose you are writing and your friend wanted to give us some comment on that. So you can go there and mention, this is the issue, this is, you can add or something that only he. So this is very I mean flexible, and nowadays everybody uses, try to keep their documents or PPTs in Google Drive. Okay, so this is very helpful. You just see, moreover he has shown you how to prepare the project report.
So you can add this comment, or even if you like share this document with your faculty, right? And they can add certain comments to this particular report, right? And that will be really helpful for the collaborative working. Okay, so I hope that this template will be very much helpful for you for writing a good project report. And if you like this video, just like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.
So hope you understood why I wanted to show you this. 1 minute. Yes. Why I wanted to show you this, so that you have stop sharing. Um, why I wanted to show this to you, because you'll have an idea how the project report is being done. Okay, because I have shown you how the synopsis is being done. First you have to, and please, there's an appendix which you have to mention, get it approved by your supervisor. Kindly do that. And once your these things are being done, then at the, like, the final stage is preparing your project report, and that is how you can do the project report, how it has been shown. I am sure something, this is, normal, I got it downloaded from Google. I'll show you something which belongs to IGNOU. Someone from IGNOU has uploaded that paper. I'll show it to you. Just be You kindly play there, I'll show it to you. You just go through. So this is, if someone has, see this is how, this is a project synopsis, how the synopsis should look like. Uh, Beauty of Agra and assessment. That is his topic, and it's been submitted. See how it is being done. I'll slowly scroll it so all of you all can have a look. Okay, let's go through this. See, there he has mentioned. See, it's been mentioned is submitted to IGNOU for PTS 5. This is, but yours is PTS 6. So, submitted by, you can write your name under the supervision of, you can mention your, this is about the synopsis. Okay, submitted to program coordinator. You have to submit it to program coordinator, tourism studies. And here it goes there in introduction. You can put a picture, like the destination or something. Then write something about that, then about the topic related informations. Okay, then what are your objectives? See, he has mentioned everything, the objectives. One, two, three, four. Yes, four objectives. Now it's about the Taj Mahal, one of the wonders of the world, which is located in Agra, Uttar Pradesh, New Delhi. So he has mentioned here, the scholar has mentioned here, what are the objectives: to understand the culture of Agra, to know the heritage of Agra, to discuss the relationship between tourism and Agra, and to discuss the economy of Agra. So this is the Agra, this is the Taj Mahal, this is one of the seven wonders of the world, and the location is, the name of the place is Agra, which is in the state of Uttar Pradesh, India. So he has done the study. His topic is this one. Beauty of Agra and assessment, right? So he has, this is he has submitted, like here this, how the format should be: project synopsis submitted to for BTS. Here you have to write PTS 6 because there is 4, 5, 6. So his topic is on PTS 5, but yours is on PTS 6, that is marketing, tourism marketing. Okay, submitted by, you need to mention your name, and then under the supervision of, then you have to write submitted to, you have to submit it to the program coordinator, tourism studies IGNOU. Their introduction, he has shown the picture of Taj Mahal Agra. See, there he has mentioned the objectives, then he has done the literature review. Okay, then methodology. Now data has been collected from secondary data sources. He hasn't used primary, he has used only secondary, but I would suggest you to use both primary and secondary. Okay, I have shown you so it would be easier. Then what are the secondary data he has collected? Basically the secondary data will be collected from the following resources, like books and internet, library, journals, newspapers, so on. Various government institutions will be visited and consulted. Okay, that also. Then here comes the references. See how he has used the references, and you can use the website also. You can write here the websites. See, different websites also he has used, and this is how he has submitted the, just a few things so you can understand how it is to be done. Okay. Yes, coming to that, I'll show you one more thing. One sec. I'll show you the references, how it is there. You'll be online, okay? I mean, you'll be on the platform. Um, See, this is how the literature review. See, bibliography and all. You go through this, you'll have an idea. Just go through this. Actually, so ASTA means American Psychological Association. So you have to write in. First, you have to write the name. See, I'm just showing you here. Name, Pan is Mitra, name of the authors. Then the year. Then it's mentioned here impact of street food tourism in Kolkata. That is the name of the name of the topic. And here comes the International Journal of Innovative Technology and Exploring Engineering. So here comes the journal, name of the journal, and here the volume 8 and page numbers and all. Okay, so this is how it should be. You can also mention the bibliography. Bibliography means books and all these things. So this is books and all, anything you can mention here. So this is how it has to be. Yes, then I have in my last class I have also, like, you can also include the questionnaire, in the appendix. See, it has been mentioned here in the appendix, questionnaire, proposed questionnaire of data collection. This is not the demographic data, this is inferential data. Okay, so demographic data is about your age group, your your sex, age group, your belong to which country, your mother tongue, your source of income. I mean, you're a student, or you're earning, or you are employed, you're a student or employed, your income per year, all this. Okay, and the others, this is all inferential data, like what are the factors that influenced your decision to visit the destination, then how often do you visit that particular place, then what is your perception of the quality, I mean, satisfaction level of that particular place, how important is the availability, infrastructure, then safety, security, food and all that in the particular area. You can include in this in your questions. Then have you ever then how much money do you typically spend on visiting these destinations? Then what are your thoughts on the role of tourism department in promoting this location? Okay, then have you ever recommended this location to your friends or family members who plan to visit this particular region? Then how do you think the promotion of a particular destination could impact the overall tourism experience in that particular region? And how do you have any suggestions for how the promotion of such a place could be improved to attract more tourists? So this is how the questionnaire should be done, appendix. And you can, these are the questionnaire, in that you can mention, like, like you agree, you don't agree, okay, or whatever that you can. It can be in a like and skill. So this is very important. So I think this would help you. I've shown you, I mean, all the details. 1 minute. Um, Anything, I've also shown you the how that the synopsis has to be submitted. This also I've shown you. 1 minute. Anything else I wanted to show? Mm, Sorry, 1 minute.
ये थाली कितनी टेम्पटिंग लग रही है ना। मेरी शादी गुजराती फैमिली में हुई है और मैं
Yes. So 1 sec, 1 minute. Hmm. So this is yeah. This is so this was your final today's how to do the research design. If you have any queries, you can reach out to me. So like research design, data collection, then analysis and interpretation of data, how this data has to be. You can use this through different bar diagrams, pie charts and all. Okay, so it would show more catchy. Okay, and the reader would find interest in going through your project. That is very important. And please do the interpretations of results properly. That is very important because that is the outcome of your study. Okay, and report writing, there you prepare, do the report writing. And I have taken your previous classes also, and I've also shared the PPTs. These also I'll be sharing the PPTs with Kaberu, and my email is mentioned there. If you have any queries or you need any further queries, if you have, or you need any information, you can mail it to me and I'll be happy to answer your queries, right? So please remember, you should plan properly, then write it, then revise it, okay, because that is very necessary. You should revise again and again. And so plan, write and revise. You remember this, okay? These are the three mantras. Plan properly, purpose, research, outline, organize, write, writing or phrasing, wording, layout and pages, and revise. You can do some grammarly check. Proofreading has to be done, and verify the purpose. Purpose in the sense, like what are the objectives you have to justify your objective. That is very important. Okay, so that is how you prepare it. And yes, some problems if you encountered, so you need not, you'll find this problems you'll encounter, but don't get worried. Be fearless and be confident enough. Okay, and you always remember, and this is my advice to all my dear learners, that once you do the project, you'll feel confident and you can always add it into your resume. That's a credential. Okay, you add it to your resume. And so wherever you're looking, the interviewer may ask you question, then you are able to answer. So they will be able to know, because doing a project is not an easy task, because you have done the field study, you have collected information, you have collected data, you have done the analysis, you have done the interpretation, and you have come out with a result. So it shows that you have done something fruitful, something productive. Okay, that is what is very important. So you can always mention it in your resume. And yes, I have also mentioned the requirements of a good questionnaire, and I have also given some recommended some books which you can use as your resources. Okay, so that is very helpful, and I hopefully this would help you. Plus you can always download the papers from Google Scholar, like Scopus, Web of Science. You can download the papers, you can go through them, and that would be easiest. Just 5 minutes, I'm coming. Okay, so thank you all of you. That was all from my side. Um, If you have any further queries, you just do let me know. And thank you to IGNO for giving me this opportunity to share my ideas with the learners. Thank you to my dear learners also. And also thank you to IGNO for giving me this opportunity to share this knowledge. Thank you.